Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel XAT Turning Problems into Solutions. This is me Priyasha, and today in this video we'll be discussing some more critical reasoning questions and a very special type, which is error in the author's reasoning and weakening the argument type questions. But if you want to practice more such questions with me live in the classes, then you can surely do it in my free live classes at Unacademy. So these classes are absolutely free, so you will not have to pay any money but to follow my profile there so that you will get notified of every time I come live. You can join me live there and study more with me and get both out of the worlds of YouTube and Unacademy absolutely free. And with this, I'm very happy to say that now is the right time to get yourself enrolled into the Plus or the Iconic subscription of Unacademy. The reason being that is you have to start your preparation for your examination, and that too a very structured one. So Unacademy will be providing you with this structured learning process, not just by the help of the top educators, best content, best tests and best mock tests, but also now with the help of the best study material. So now Unacademy has come up with this exclusive study material which will be having all the topics covered with 25,000 plus questions to be practiced, theories, FAQs, tips and strategies, all under one umbrella. And the best part is that all of this is included in your present subscription rates. That means if you subscribe using my code Priyasha10 to the Plus or the Iconic subscription, you would be getting an additional discount of 10%, and at this reduced rate, you will also get access to the notes. If you're going for the Plus subscription, you will be accessible to the digital notes, and for the Iconic ones, both digital and physical notes will be provided to you. And all of this at this included subscription rates. So now is the right time to get yourself enrolled and get yourself prepared for your examination in a completely structured manner. And do not forget to use my code Priyasha10 while enrolling into this so that you get an additional discount of 10%. Now let's get our video started. Hello everyone. So in this video, we'll be discussing the practice set 5 of the critical reasoning questions. So if you have not checked these questions before, then please open the PDF right there in the description box. First, view the questions. Try to figure out what answer do you think for this question, and once you're done with them, you can return back to this video and check the answers along with the reasons why I'm eliminating the remaining options, because that is 100% more essential than the correct answer itself. The way or the reason I'm eliminating a particular option will help you in the upcoming critical reasoning questions as well. So let's start with the question number 1. This question is very special. The reason being that is it is not according to the very general type of question like weakening the argument, strengthening the arguments, conclusion, cause, effect type. This is a special question where you have to identify an error in the author's reasoning. So this is something which will be a very different one out of the ones which we have practiced. Here you have to find out what is going wrong in the author's statements. And when you are given the privilege to decide or judge upon someone's sayings, sometimes what we do is we start picking out very irrelevant data also, which might not be important enough even if it's wrong. So therefore, at such a situation, we have to understand what is something which is completely wrong and what is something which is slightly wrong. Completely wrong will be my answer. So here in question number 1, we read a gas tax of 1 cent per gallon. Okay, the number is important here, so please make a note of it. 1 cent per gallon would raise $1 billion per year at the current consumption rates. That means, can we assume that the author is having the current consumption rates with him? So what is the data with the author? The data with the author is the current consumption rates. Please keep that in mind. And that is possibly the correct data, because of which he is writing or mentioning that if he takes 1 cent per gallon tax, he would be able to generate $1 billion. So if you divide the number, you will get the current consumption rate. Since a tax of 50 cents per gallon would therefore raise $50 billion. Now, what do you realize from here? You realize that the author is trying to draw a direct comparison or direct relation between the two. He is saying that if I apply a 50-cent tax instead of 1 cent, I will be able to generate $50 billion per year. And to this, he is further making a reason, giving a reason for doing that. Like if he does this, there will be two benefits to the country. The first benefit will be, of course, that the federal budget deficit will be dealt with. And at the same time, the demand for the gasoline would be ecologically sound. People will it will result in a drop of this gasoline demand, and that would keep our environment sound, okay, and our country will not be too much dependent on the foreign oil producers. So to this, we have to find out what's going wrong with the author's assumption or author's reasoning. Look, the first two options in this question, the author cites irrelevant data and the author relies on incorrect current consumption figures, is questioning the data, not the author's reasoning. I repeat, पहले दो ऑप्शंस डेटा को क्वेश्चन कर रहे हैं, डेटा को गलत बता रहे हैं. डेटा इज रॉन्ग इज व्हाट इज मेंशन इन द फर्स्ट टू ऑप्शंस, बट डेटा का रॉन्ग होना ऑथर की रीजनिंग का रॉन्ग होना से रिलेटेड नहीं है. ऑथर जो सोच रहा है वो गलत है और वो हमें क्वेश्चन में निकालना है. ओके, दैट्स द आंसर व्हिच वी हैव टू फाइंड आउट. But here in the first two option, it's mentioned that the data is irrelevant, the data is wrong. So data being wrong is not our concern, as I told you in the beginning. So therefore, A and B is not my answer. Going to option C, the author makes incompatible assumptions. Now this can be very much true. This is something which is directly related to author's reasoning. ऑथर ने इनकम्पैटिबल अजम्पशंस किए हैं और इसका सबसे बड़ा एग्जाम्पल क्या है? द ऑथर हैज ड्रॉन अ डायरेक्ट रिलेशन और डायरेक्ट प्रपोर्शन बिटवीन द टैक्सेस एंड द अमाउंट विच विल बी रेज्ड. सो ये क्या बोल रहे हैं? ये ऐसे बोल रहे हैं यूनिटरी मेथड लगा के, जैसे 1 चॉकलेट इज इक्वल्स टू ₹10, सो 10 चॉकलेट्स विल बी इक्वल्स टू ₹100. उसी कॉन्सेप्ट से ये बोल रहे हैं कि अगर मैं 1 सेंट पर गैलन टैक्स लूं तो मुझे $1 बिलियन मिलेगा. उसी हिसाब से अगर मैं 50 सेंट्स पर गैलन टैक्स लूं तो मुझे लगभग कितना मिल जाएगा? $50 बिलियन मिल जाएगा. तो इस तरह का डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शन रिलेशन होना इज नॉट पॉसिबल इन द प्रैक्टिकल नंबर्स, करेक्ट, बिकॉज ऑफ वेरियस अदर फैक्टर्स. ऐसे अमाउंट बढ़ाने पर तो कंजम्पशन रेट्स भी घट जाते हैं, है ना. तो इस तरह के बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स हैं जिस वजह से वी कैन नॉट एस्टैब्लिश अ यूनिटरी मेथड और अ डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल relation between the taxes and the amount generated from it, and therefore that sounds incompatible assumption to me. That sounds incompatible assumption to me. So therefore option C will be the most apt answer here. But just to see option D and E once, D says the author mistakes an effect for a cause. यहाँ पे cause and effect का कोई relation नहीं है, मतलब हमें यहाँ पर cause and effect के change होने से ऑथर के रीजनिंग पर कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. सो दैट्स नॉट माय आंसर. एंड द ऑथर अपील्स टू द कॉन्साइंस रादर देन रीजन इज नॉट अ error in the reasoning. Okay, so that makes option C as the correct answer for this particular question. Now we'll quickly go to question number 2 and see the answer for it. Let's read that first. It's first the question is asking you what would weaken the argument. So your first thing should be to see आपको खोजना क्या है क्वेश्चन से. So when you are talking about weakening the argument, you are first trying to identify the argument from the given passage. पहला काम है argument को identify करना. The second step is to figure out which statement is going completely against that stated statement in the paragraph, and that will be my answer. So look, in this question it says there is no reason why the work of the scientist has to be officially confirmed before being published. Okay, why there is no reason to be officially confirmed? There is a system in place for the confirmation or disconfirmation of the scientific findings, namely the replication of the results by the other scientists. तो क्यों कंफर्मेशन की जरूरत नहीं है साइंटिफिक वर्क्स को या वर्क ऑफ साइंटिस्ट को? क्योंकि ऑलरेडी एक ऐसा सिस्टम एस्टैब्लिश्ड है जहां एक साइंटिस्ट का काम दूसरे साइंटिस्ट कंफर्म करते हैं बाय रेप्लिकेटिंग द रिजल्ट्स. Poor scientific work on part of any one scientist, which can include anything from careless reporting practices to fraud, is not harmful. Why it is not harmful? Because the other scientists who will try to replicate the same data will get to see the discrepancies in the data. तो उससे पब्लिश होने से पहले ही ये चीज पता चल जाएगी. Okay, it will be exposed and rendered harmless when the other scientists conduct the experiment and obtain the disconfirmatory result. Suppose करो scientist A ने बताया कि if I put chemical A with chemical B at 20 degrees Celsius, I get a purple color. And इस वर्क को एक्चुअली पब्लिश होने से पहले किसी कंफर्मेशन की जरूरत क्यों नहीं है? क्योंकि अदर साइंटिस्ट एक ऐसा सिस्टम बना है जहाँ other scientists will try to conduct the same experiment and see if they can replicate the result or not. If they are able to replicate the result, it is very good and fine. But if they are not able to replicate the results as mentioned, then that is called as disconfirmatory results. बोलने का मतलब है what is the argument which is hiding in this passage? Argument says that author means scientist का काम publish होने से पहले ही verify हो जाता है, okay, by the other scientists. तो कौन सा statement है which will be going against this argument? Statement number 1, scientific experiments can go unchallenged for many years before they are replicated. Now this is something which is my answer. You know why? I got my answer in the first attempt and I will be very sure of it as well. The reason for that being is that ये completely against जा रहा है. ये तो ये बोल रहा है कि सालों साल तक वर्क मतलब जब तक वो रेप्लिकेट ही नहीं होता तब तक तो वो अनचैलेंज रह जाएगा. अनचैलेंज कैसे रहेगा? पब्लिश होने से पहले ही उसे रेप्लिकेट करके वेरीफाई किया जाता है. So this is something which is weakening my argument and therefore is my answer, weakening the argument. Let's see how the other options are supporting it. Most scientists work in the universities where the work is submitted to the peer review before publication. Now, don't you think this is the same thing which has been stated earlier as well? It has been earlier stated that the scientists are working and also their group scientists, like the pair scientists, are trying to replicate the data. So, इसमें तो ये same information है, so it is of course supporting the argument. So, no point of mistake here. This will not be my answer. Most scientists are under pressure to make their work accessible to the scrutiny of replication is again the statement which is supporting the argument above. And option D says in scientific experiments careless reporting is more than the fraud. Well, this is something which is out of the scope. यहाँ पर इन्होंने लिखा है कि केयरलेस रिपोर्टिंग से लेके फ्रॉड तक कोई भी चीज को आराम से रेप्लिकेट करके वेरीफाई किया जा सकता है, बट इट्स मोर देन फ्रॉड इज नॉट written in the passage anyway. And option D, most scientists work as a part of team rather than working in team or alone doesn't actually affects my argument. So it's completely away from the argument. So that will be a wrong answer here as well. So I am left with one correct answer, which is option A for the second question. So that was all for this video, guys. If you understood this, then very good. You should practice more like questions like this. And I'll be up with more such videos. But till then, you have to take care of yourself. Like this video, share it with more and more people. And if you're new to this channel by any chance, then please subscribe to the channel as well. And yes, I'll be up with more such videos very soon. So you have to take care of yourself till that time and keep practicing. Thank you so much for watching this video.